Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Season 4, Episode 3, Everything is Bellmore. Okay, we're gonna start with the easy stuff, and we're gonna end with the thing
that made me have to reapply my wing liner in the corner.
We're gonna end with the real thing. So, okay. Abe had to write a theater review.
Mm-hmm.
So they went to go see a show by a guy who they used to know in the Catskills whenever they would go to the Catskills.
Yeah, the Steiner camp or whatever.
And so he seems like he's about Midge's age, roughly. We don't see any of it, but it is sort of objectively terrible. Even Joel agrees with Abe, and they have a little tension this week. So he basically kills it in his review.
Yeah, I mean, he says that there is one good song and they reprise it 5 different times. You just can't do that.
So all of this basically comes to a head at this little boy's bar mitzvah, who we don't know him because he invited Moish to go up and do one of the passages with him, and it turns out that he didn't know Moish. He couldn't pick him out of a lineup. It was just they got wires crossed somewhere. So it was a total accident. So the Maisels and the Weissmans are here for no reason. None at all. That's all very funny. It all comes to a huge head at this bar mitzvah, and everybody is talking shit about Abe, and then Abe sort of lets slip that the Nagy shrew in the play is based on Rose, and it's a whole thing. It's very funny.
Yeah, and I like that. So after the show, he goes to the Village Voice because the deadline was that night. And so he sits down and he was like, it's a nice show. Your mom might like it.
Yeah, and that's all he writes.
Yeah, and his editor was like, no. And so, I mean, I kind of had the feeling it was probably bad if that's just what he was going to say.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's trying to be nice.
Also, though,
all of these people.
Also, your mother would like it is a pretty damning review anyway.
Woof. But Abe was looking very smart in his theater cape. I mean, swirls everywhere.
All around.
Fashion moment.
Everybody looks pretty good at the opera. Man, Maren Hinkle's wardrobe so far this season is something else.
Everybody, I mean, a round of applause for costuming on this show because you all are doing work.
That maroon thing that Rose was wearing at dinner,
it was like an eggplant.
Believable.
But eggplant in between maroon and eggplant. Whatever that color is in there. Oh my god.
It was unbelievable. And then, obviously, Midge had a couple of pretty great things. Although that hat she was wearing with the houndstooth was bad. That hat was bad. Yeah. Rose's hat at the bar mitzvah was not very good either. I didn't care for that.
Well, I think we're getting into weird hat 60s.
Turban 60s.
Yeah, but it was I mean, I love a good turban. Don't get me wrong. But this weird, tall bowler that comes in here with a weird upturned rim. Yeah. It's just very, very odd.
The hats are not my favorite. The dresses remain unimpeachable. Also, where the fashion was quite good was Miriam threw a Tupperware party.
Yes, she did.
Bitch, we love to see it. And then Imogene was going on about how the Tupperware stopped a bullet from an intruder somewhere.
I mean, that's one way to sell,
It's totally incorrect.
Yeah.
But
I just think it's really funny that, I mean, don't come for me with this comment, but, Miriam's trying to hustle, so of course she finds an MLM.
Of course. Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look, though, here's the thing about Tupperware, is that it's actually good.
Yes.
Tupperware is actually good. And so I'd like to speak to you now about an opportunity. But Tupperware is actually good. We had Tupperware that, in my house growing up, we had Tupperware that my grandma had bought in the 50s that, she passed down, and it still worked. We had this really cool square pickle thing, and so you, dumped the jar of pickles into it, and then it had, a little, not a net, but it had, a little thing with holes in the bottom, and you would lift it up, and it was, inside the square container, and you would lift it up and get a pickle, so you didn't have to put your hands all in the juice.
Oh, that's ingenious.
It was incredible.
Wow.
It was I can't find something like that anymore.
Plus, it's probably because that type of plastic gave everybody cancer.
I don't think it did.
Really?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it did. You don't really, it's just for storing. You don't really heat in it.
Yeah. And, like, the lettuce washer, we can't find a lettuce washer anymore.
You can get a salad spinner.
Really? Yeah. I haven't been able to...
You push now, though. You don't crank. It's like a push button.
Okay.
That girl on TikTok, Emily Mariko, that everybody... She's like...
I haven't found her TikTok yet.
Okay. I'll show you one of hers, but she has one that you push.
Find me on Tupperware TikTok, I guess.
But all the women were wearing, like, shades of colors that were, like in
neon
the
pastel.
Yeah.
They look like they belonged in Easter baskets. It was stunning.
It was amazing. It was... You're right about Easter baskets. Ugh. That's exactly what it looked like.
I want jelly beans. God damn it.
All the Easter candy is out at the store.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. We could go get Reese's eggs, and we could get some Robin's eggs.
Ooh.
And we could get some jelly beans. I don't really want jelly beans, and I can give Will some Cadbury eggs, because I think those are disgusting, too.
I like to eat half of it, but then it makes my teeth hurt.
Yeah.
The sugar from it makes my teeth hurt.
What else are we looking at before we get to the actual thing?
Rose's matchmaking business is doing gangbusters. Mm-hmm. She's doing it in the tea room, which is very pretty. There's a lovely strawberry cake situation with, like, mint icing on top. And
her friend Corinne, who's played by Vivian Cox, who I really love, too. She's in tons of stuff that I love. She is so funny.
She really is. She is, like, a disciple if ever there were one.
Love it. So she's sort of helping her as, like, her assistant to, like, check people in and, like, you know, be helpful and whatever. So that's really adorable. There is a secondary aspect to that scene that we will come back to once the thing.
Do we want to talk about Mr. Phoebe?
Yeah. Okay. So in Abe's review of this bad Broadway show, apparently at the end, he, like, admitted to him and Jason Alexander's character, Asher burning down a federal building.
Yeah, because I guess
in the 20s.
He started with the actual play itself, but then zoomed out and, like, with his overall opinion of the American rot of Broadway.
Yeah.
And how there aren't any good shows or whatever. And so he's still trying to, like, gas up Asher, but he keeps doing it in
a bad way.
Yeah, like, you're not being effective. But yeah, so Abe had a message from Zelda that a Mr. Phoebe called, and we'll call back.
Yeah.
And so then Asher called Abe to be like,
excuse me, what have you done?
You blew our cover and the FBI wants to talk to us.
Yeah.
So, oh boy.
So we'll see about that. And then I want to say the last thing is Midge is still working at the, I almost said brothel. At the burlesque club.
I love burlesque.
Yeah.
If I felt confident enough, I would totally fucking do it. It's great.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
Awesome.
And let's hear a round of applause for that first lady.
Yes!
Who,
real bodies.
Let's be honest, all of them that we saw were, like, not, I mean, because it's the 60s, that wasn't, like, as big of a thing. They were all real curvy and just...
Legs were dimpled, booties were dimpled.
Just want to, like,
to see it.
Grab them.
Uh-huh.
Want to grab them.
Just looks so soft. And
nice. Really, like, want to, like, take a nap on the belly.
Yeah.
So, she's having an okay time. We got Santino Fontana.
I'm so excited. I hope he actually
is on it.
Yes,
Me too.
I like him so much.
Me too.
He's when they replaced him on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I was upset, but I mean, I think it was because of, like, Frozen or whatever. So
I remember being like, well, they had a decent story excuse why. It's because, like, when you re-meet someone, they sometimes don't register the same way to you.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't fine.
It, like, worked.
Skylar Astin wasn't as good as Greg.
Okay, so he's playing, in Frozen, he's playing Hans, who's hot as balls, if we're being honest.
Oh, yeah.
And then you see Santino Fontana, and you're like, oh. But then you see him on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and you're like, oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when he did, in like, season 1, he did the song Settle for Me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, bitch, I'll do it.
Yeah, no problem.
Do it.
Yeah, we need to work on an alcohol problem, but everything else,
do it.
I'm in.
So, okay, he's there. He's the manager of the burlesque club. There is also an owner who seems to be a drunk.
He's an old man.
So we're not sure really what's going on there.
Yeah.
Midge is trying her darndest to, like, make an impression. It's not super working.
Mm-hmm.
The girls don't care about her. She's trying to introduce herself. They don't really care. I'm hopeful that we'll get one or two that she starts to be friends with.
Same.
Like, especially the girl from last week in the cab. It's mostly going okay, but everybody just keeps telling her to take her clothes off. And in fairness, I don't think she should have to take her clothes off, but it wouldn't hurt her to dress a little sexier at the burlesque club.
Yeah, or like, especially that first outfit when she had the sheer overlay.
Just take the sheer thing off.
Yeah, make it a joke.
Yeah.
Be like, that's, that's all you're getting. Now you have to listen to me talk, I guess.
Yeah. And then, but I did love her when someone threw a dollar bill at her, and she was like, well, I didn't know you were going to throw a crumpled up, greasy dollar bill at me. Now I'll take it off.
Yeah.
That was super funny. And so then towards the end of the episode, Lenny Bruce shows up. The chemistry is electric.
No words.
Electric.
So where Joel is absolutely bringing big dick energy.
Yeah.
I don't know what Lenny Bruce is serving, but he's serving it in spades. And I would like seconds, thirds, and fourths.
Oh, man. They sort of go back and forth, teasing each other in the back, and she's like, you have to leave before I go on. I'm still, like, getting used to this. Like, you can't be here. And he tells this kind of drawn-out story about how he was doing, like, a speech or something in school, and the teacher kept throwing stuff at him so that he could ignore the distractions. And she was like, what is the point of this story? And he was like, I am throwing stuff at you tonight. You have to learn how to, like, deal with this stuff. And so she basically is like, well, don't sit where I can see you. And so if this is the stage, he is right here.
Yep.
It's like basically in her lap. And and the people at the two tables are just throwing crap at her the entire time.
They threw change at her. Like,
there was like handfuls of coins. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then he threw, there was like a crumpled up something. And so she picked up the crumpled up something and threw it back at him. And he caught it out of the air while making sex eyes at her. Can Luke Kirby make sex eyes at me?
Please!
Jesus Christ!
And I think when he caught it in the air, both of us went, oh! Yeah. It was like, unreal. I have to leave.
So, okay. We also decided I am manifesting this into existence. Since there is a 5th and final season, and Lenny Bruce didn't actually die in real life until 1966, I am feeling confident he will live through the show.
Yes.
So, let's make it happen. She needs to get her nut with Lenny Bruce.
Yes, please give it to us. Please.
At least once.
Yep.
Come on,
You didn't give it to us with Zachary Levi. It was all very fade to black, and I would have liked to have seen something of that. So if we could please make that happen with her and Lenny Bruce. I mean, you've been edging us for seasons.
Because here's the thing that's going to happen is I'm going to get as obsessed with this as I am with Karen Page and Frank Castle, and all I'm going to want for the rest of my days is for them to be in a sex movie together, like a rom-com sex movie together. And if it doesn't happen, I will not be satisfied when I die. I will not have lived a full life. So just let it happen.
Yes, please.
Come on.
Please, directors, writers, producers, somebody. Please
she actually does pretty good, though, in the set when Lenny's there. So it's nice. I am interested to see throughout the rest of the season how her burlesque club thing develops.
I'm hopeful. Yeah. I think that she's going to start to really make a name for herself, and so we're gonna gradually see the crowd grow. Yeah,
I agree.
For sure.
I that's what I've been hoping. And this even was a bigger crowd than
last time
when we saw her first discover the burlesque club. So, okay, that brings us to the huge, huge bummer.
So real quick, everyone, take a deep breath in and then let it out, because we're going to talk about something very, very sad. Very, very sad.
I also forgot that I knew him from Gilmore Girls. He played a character called Bootsy on Gilmore Girls. Apparently in 2019, Brain Tarantina died, who played Jackie. He died like 3 weeks before the final episode of season 3.
Chills again.
So Susie just comes back to her apartment, and there's a woman there with, what's his name, Chester?
Yeah.
And it's his sister, Nancy. It's Jackie's sister, Nancy. He had a stroke and he died, and I hate it.
Yeah. I'm really upset, and it made it even worse to know that the actor died.
Well, because that's the thing. Just killing the character off out of nowhere would have made zero sense if Brian Tarantino was still alive. So I was like, at least he. I mean, it sucks so bad though. He was only 60. It was some kind of heart issue. I'm so sad and so furious, and I was having a real Susie reaction to it the whole episode. She first gets just totally shit hammered, and that fucking plate of Dagwood sandwiches.
I know, my God.
I always forget the maid's name.
Zelda.
That Zelda maid. First of all, they looked amazing, and Susie was having no part of it. So the whole episode, Susie's having a really hard time. She just sort of can't believe it. She just keeps walking around telling random people that they're going to die someday. It's amazing. I love it. She goes to the play with them, and she has to sit up in the mezzanine with Joel, because there are 7 tickets, but only 5 of them are in the orchestra. And Midge can't find her anywhere, and Joel's like, it's probably a good thing. She opened a bag of, like, Cheetos halfway through or something, and just told everyone who shushed her that they're gonna die someday. So I love all of that. It was like it just felt like a really nice send-up to him, too. So I was, like, happy about that. And then they go to have the actual funeral, and Susie has to speak.
And nobody showed up.
Nobody showed up. It was Midge and Susie and Jackie's sister, and then Chester.
And then the Monsignor. For the church he went to regularly.
That we had no idea. That was like the whole thing, the whole episode, is that like Susie just kept finding out things about him that like she didn't know. Like he was in the service. He got a bronze star, which I looked it up. It is given for heroic achievement, heroic service, meritorious achievement, or meritorious service in a combat zone. So like Jackie saw action in World War II and no one knew. And it's just like,
he was also a Blue Ribbon Lindy winner.
Yeah, like she didn't know, one knew he could dance and everything, and he kept Midge's clippings. Like
that sent me because his sister was like, yeah, he always sent me your clippings from the paper. I mean, what a way to fully form a character that we really didn't know. And when we first see Nancy, she said, you know, I dictated his last words, and it basically was just him telling Susie how to keep going, like
how to run the club.
Yeah, that, and like if you get spaghetti sauce in those towels, you can't wash them because they're too delicate. And
the curtains.
Oh yeah, there you go. And then trash days were this day, and he was still trying to take care of her. And so I think what's really lovely is because he seemed so prickly, but he was taking care of everyone without them realizing it. And
he said something about, or that what the Monsignor, I think, said, one of Jackie's closest friends, Susie Meyerson. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I had a close friend and I had no idea that I had a friend. And so she hijacks the funeral across the hall.
Inspired. I love it. I love every moment of it.
I love that no one objected either.
No.
They just let it happen. It's like, it was so good. And she goes on this whole spiel about all the things she didn't know about him until after he died. And I actually love this moment for Susie too, because she was like, he had so much to offer and like no one knew it and I didn't know it. And I was apparently his close friend and like, that's ridiculous. And so she was like, I am going to make it my mission to find the Jackies of the world. And I think that goes to what she talked about last week, whereas like, you need to branch out from Midge and like get more clients. And I think that's what she's going to do. Like finding the Jackies. And apparently everybody thinks that it's going to that magician. She's going to sign that magician.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I am very interested in that. I am just absolutely devastated that Brian Tarantina is dead. I liked him a lot. And I think this was like a perfect send-up.
Oh my God.
Jackie.
Incredible. I mean, this show is so good, but this was easily one of the best episodes I think I've seen.
Yeah. It was really, really nice. It was emotionally correct because it's also like Susie was the one that was the saddest about it, obviously. Mm-hmm. Even his sister didn't really seem super emotional about it. But, like, Midge was very touched, too, that he had saved her clippings and, you know, that he actually liked her when she thought that he just was, like, letting it happen as opposed to, like, seeking it out. And so I'm sort of interested what's going to happen with the gaslight because there's a kid there, JJ, who is working there. And so I'm sort of like, is Susie going to be the manager now? Because she just was sort of, I don't know what she even did before.
I think she kind of managed. Because I feel like Jackie was under her.
Oh.
So
I thought Jackie was above her.
I don't know. Because it always just kind of did this. So I don't know. I'm very curious.
Me too.
But cheers to you, Brian / Jackie. We hope that you're happy wherever you are.
It was really quite good. Oh, that was the thing I wanted to come back to, though, about Rose's matchmaking, is that, like, Midge doesn't want to leave Susie alone because she's really not dealing well with it. Which is actually also so interesting about Susie, because she's been very cavalier about death in the past because their mom died.
Yeah,
and
she
was
could
totally
give
fine.
2 shits about her mom dying.
But it's, I think, because it was just so sudden with Jackie.
Yeah.
It was a stroke, which is usually pretty sudden. So it happened really fast, and she, like, you know, he was, like, telling her to, like, do stuff the day before, and, you know, it's that kind of thing. And I think because they were so much more entwined in each other's lives, it's harder to get that out of there. So, but while Rose is doing her matchmaking, Midge doesn't want Susie left alone, and so Rose takes her to the tea room also, and she is acting like a child.
Oh, yeah.
Kicking the chair, like, Rose, I'm hungry!
I'm bored! I don't like this! Kick.
She's drawn on all the paper, both sides, and all the stuff. Super funny. And then a waitress comes and delivers a bowl to her, and she's like, Rose, what is this? And she goes, I ordered that for you. And Rose is I like that they kind of like Susie now. Yeah. It's really sweet. The Weissmans kind of like Susie. She's like, is this just a bowl of whipped cream? She's like, yes. And Susie's like, and I could just eat it? I doesn't have to go with anything? And Rose is like, yeah, just eat it. Just eat the bowl of whipped cream. I think that is so funny.
Mm-hmm. And then Susie was like, I will follow you into hell.
Yeah, Rose, wherever. It actually, it rung a bell for me from Gilmore Girls, where there is an episode where Lorelai is sick or injured somehow, and her mom, Emily, comes over to spend time with her, and she makes her the snack that she always made her when she was, like, a little girl. And Lorelai has no memory of it, and it's just a mashed up banana on toast. Which sounds disgusting, but it's, like, the vibe of, like, caring for somebody with something that's, like, maybe not totally appropriate to the moment, where it's, like, a bowl of whipped cream will make you feel good, but she's gonna still be hungry. Mm-hmm. Like, and so it pinged that same, if anybody's watched Gilmore Girls, it pinged that same vibe of that scene to me, so I liked that quite a lot. Susie is so funny in this episode.
Oh, God, everyone is just so fucking good. I love this show so much.
Me too. So, we're gonna go watch episode 4. We'll be right back. Bye.
Bye.